Should I give him another call?
Yeah, you can see if he's gonna.
Yeah, let me give him a call now. Hold on.
Holding, but I think we'll get started the Sikumim already. Sure, I think it's live. Should be. Okay, very good. Fine, I'll share the thing on the screen here. Oh, I see he's popping on right now. Perfect. Okay, so share.
Apologies, I was stuck and
okay, so let's start. Let's start. No further ado. We're live
okay.
already.
Yeah, what is it we're doing today?
We're in session 20. We're going to do the Sikum inside, and then
Yes.
hopefully we'll get to the. If we get to the whole thing, then we can. We'll do it in the Sikum, and then if we can go look at the.
Okay, beseder.
Look inside if we have, even though it jumps around a bit, but I think it's a little bit less this week than this session than the last one.
Okay.
Fine. So we're gonna be looking in Choshen Mishpat, Siman, Sameach, and Siv base, and Shin Tes, Aleph, and then Vav 3 at base. We have Gezel Hagoy, a cotton.
Which page is this?
25 in the blue book. So Gezel Hagoy a cotton, robbery from a which we touched upon the last week also.
Yes.
We're going to go more into this, robbing from a goy or a minor, right? As well as what are the isurim of lisashik and lisachmed, which is literally lisashik means do not oppress. In our context, it means withholding money from, even though the literal meaning is to oppress. And lisachmed is not coveting. Fine. So isur geneva minochli katan. We'll start with that. So
now, Losashok, I think we had
a little, yeah. We had also we touched upon.
We touched upon in the last for hair. We had the
a little bit, yeah.
An exam was one of the answers, I think.
Yeah.
Well, that was right. So that was and that was because Sashik is withholding, right?
Baltolin, no? In the case of Baltolin,
that's part of withholding wages from a
the question was what other things.
Right, but there it's talking about a Jew. Here we're going into Lisashik by Anochi.
Lisachmed and also
right,
not
so we're going to be talking about as regards to Anochi in this case. So first we'll start. What is the Isur Geneva by Anochi? So what's the rule by Anochi, and what's the rule by a cotton? Right. So first of all by a goy, is it the Midei Raisa that you cannot steal from him? So we start. Gemara Mesechus Baba Kama. Right? So Baba Kama explains that robbing a guy is prohibited. Rabbi Bar Gidel, Rabbi Shimon Chasida. Gezel Kenani Asur, Avidosi Materis. So robbing him is prohibited. However, his lost article, i.e., not returning his lost article, is permitted. You're not required, even though you're not allowed to rob him, you're not required to return his lost article. The question is now, is it biblical or rabbinical? So Rambam betfila silz geneva, nira she'isur geneva min ha'teirahu. Right, so it sounds like stealing. Remember, we're talking about stealing, as opposed to robbery. There is a difference. Is biblical, right? Whether Bain, right, like he says, Bain began of Mammon Yisrael, Bain began of Mammon Nachum. If you remember last week, we had the Lashon Echad Yisrael, the Echad Akom, the Echad Godel, the Echad Katan. And so too, V'chein began of Godel, began of Katan, the same thing. It's the same difference. Stealing from an adult or stealing from a child. V'chein Psaka Shulchan Aruch, like which he essentially uses the Lashon Rambam in the Shulchan Aruch there.
Yeah.
His language Kol Hagein Vafilu Shave Pruta Ever Alav Delei Signevu, which is the Raisa. The Chayav L'Shalim Echad Gein of Mammon Yisrael, a Gein of Mammon Shel Goyim, the Echad Gein of Godel, a Katan. Fine.
If it's a Shove Pruta, it's a Midaraisa, right?
And if it's not a Shove Pruta, no, if it's a Shove Pruta, Chayiv, so Chayiv L'Shalim, you have to pay. If it's not Shove Pruta, you're still over on the Isur, even less than Shove Pruta, culture.
Yeah, but the question is it Nitan Lehashova or not?
Right, that's the question. Is you have to return it, right? That being that it's however
because Beishiv is Beshove Pruta, you're saying, right? Beishiv is Beshove Pruta.
Right. So but that's returning it. As far as
that's a
prohibition,
the
prohibition is on cultural.
That's a question, right?
Well, so it wasn't a question.
It's not a question.
Clear. It was pretty clear that the cultural you're even on the Aveda still.
On the Aveda, nobody
you wouldn't get when it's Nitan L'Shalim, you don't pay when it's not sheer. And if had it been an Isur Malkus, you wouldn't receive lashes in such a case.
My real question is, I think we touched it on the share. I didn't get a clear answer. A person who steals pocket meshava pruta, right? He's over a Geneva, but he wants to do tshuva, a bit zurik batzon. Is it nitten lehashova or not nitten lehashova? That's my question. In other words,
can he still return it? Listen, he doesn't have a chi of hashava.
The question is it in Lomjik raid is
right? I want to make it right. Meaning, does it help? You're saying?
Yeah, that's all. And it's nogea in this halacha, I think. No, I mean.
Let's talk about a case where a person gets malchus. So what? Can he go to the best and say, I know I'm not chayiv malchus, but can you give me malchus so I can do tshuva?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Doesn't sound like you could do that. But hey, we don't know. That's a question. Okay, omnam betchilas hilchas gezel v'aveda yesh mokum lehovim Rambam sheisur gezel agoy einu isur lav min atera.
Right, so there is room to think that gezel. Remember, that's by Geneva. However, we can think that it's possible to draw a conclusion from the Rambam there.
By gezel nicht.
That gezel, right? That robbery, as opposed to stealing, is not biblical. Why? So the other says, Yesh Shabir ben Geneva migoy, ben Gezel, that we can differentiate between Gezel and Geneva. Why she came the Gabi Gezel Matzino Bikosov? What do we find by Gezel in the pasuk? Reyecha, your fellow, right? Like Sashek es Reyecha, v'lei Sigzu. Right, which by the way is how we know that the Sashik, right, withholding pay is not midaraisa by a goy. So when you look at the pasuk, you could assume that what does it say right after that? Like sigzu. So mali sashek is reyacha. So to like sigzu as reyacha also applies to that.
This is called smichas apsukim.
Right. In this case, it's mamish in the same pasuk.
Yeah, and then you darshan from that it says reyacha, and the reyacha applies both to leisashik and to the next thing it says leisigzel. So in the God Geneva, right? By Geneva, you don't have such a thing. You don't have such a thing.
By Gezel, you have this pasuk.
Right, so Geneva is shaykh for side by yid, side by goy.
Right, so lefi avanazu Geneva migoy isur lav min atayra. So Geneva theft, according to
this. Gezel goy.
Also
midrabanan.
Gezel, right? Gezel is midrabanan.
Beisur lav el beisur asay.
Right, meaning he's not even on a.
Which asay would that be?
It's a good question, and I looked for it also. I couldn't figure out what he was talking about. It says it gives a few places to look it up. So we'll look it up later. Also in the encyclopedia.
I'm not sure what all these I've heard of, encyclopedia, Talmudis.
Yeah. In either case, he doesn't clarify here in the sequel. Anyway, Rashi Mesech Sanhedrin Kosav. Shegezel Hagoy Osarak Midrabanim Mishum Chil Lashem. That's Rashi in Sanhedrin. He writes that robbing is only is awesome Rabbanon because of, it's a funny thing, because how did Chil Hashem become the Rabbanon? It's but because of Chil Hashem, Shadi B'Posel Kos of Leisashik Esreyacha, right? Just like we were dashing the Rambam here. You're talking to Gneva, Yed Rashi the Rambam. So it sound like by Gneva he would, right, because being that Rashi brings also Leisashik Esreyacha, and only Gezel is in that pasuk, not Gneva. So it would seem that Rashi is agreeing with this way of learning the Rambam, which that Geneva from a guy is midiraisa and Gezel is midrabanan. Marshal Cholak Mefurish al Rambam. The Marshal, however, argues clearly on the Rambam. The Kosav, and he writes, Shegam Gezel Hagoy, the Gam Geneva Meagoy, Isur midrabanan. Marshal says, no, he disagrees. He says even Geneva is only midrabanan. It's not even from Chil Hashem like Rashi says, but rather why? So he should remove himself from ugliness, meaning from acting in an ugly way, and similar. And a person should eat and drink what is his own. Right? Don't take other people's stuff, basically. Don't get yourself accustomed to stealing and theft. Even in such a case where it's not awesome, but the Rabbanan said it's an ugly way to act.
So in other words, what we're saying is it's l'harchik min hakiyur. It's only the Rabbanon.
And the reason is not mishum chil Hashem. It's because don't act in an inappropriate way. And that's why Chazal were gazing at sort of a thing. And so according to the Marshal, it goes by both Geneva and Gezel. However, the Shulchan Aruch goes it takes the opposite tact altogether.
Yeah, it's
right?
also lignav.
Also ligzail lignav kol shehu din teira bein Yisrael bein Menachri bein Megadol bein Katan. According to Alter Rebbe, both Geneva and Gezela by goy, by Jew, by adult, by minor is all minatera.
So it's even more than the Rambam then.
Yeah, he goes even hard. Right. Yeah, the Marshal says it's all midrabanan. The Alter Rebbe takes the total opposite approach. The
Marshal says it's all midrabanan. The Rambam holds that Geneva minatera, midrabanan, and the Alter Rebbe says Sai Gezelem. Sai Geneva is din teira.
All din teira. Yeah. Of Makim Achen before B'Shulchan Aruch Harav. In another place, the Shulchan Aruch Harav explains Shegzelas Hanochri Asura Rak Kishimiskaven Ligzel Mamish Al Menashal Elhachzir. The Alter Rebbe explains so in a different place. Where are we talking about that it's midday Raisa Gazel from a guy? Is when he was miskaven to outright to do Gzela. Aval im Gezel min Al Menas Shalim, right? Which we know by a Yid you can do, right? If he's stealing, if he's robbing him on condition that he's going to bring it back, right? And how much more so if he's going to return the actual item as opposed to just paying for it. Mutter, then it's permitted. Because when you're stealing with the on condition to pay for it, then it's not a problem of gazel. But because of don't covet, don't covet your fellow's item. The Isra and the Isra of Leisachme, don't covet another person's things. This is only by a Jew. You don't have this is not applied to a guy. And therefore, if it was on a nas that you were going to pay or give the item back, then it's muted. Now, so what's the machlekes that Ramah? Sorry, we just shot too far here.
We are doing a chiluk now.
1 second. Here. A chiluk bein a place nachri. Yeah. And I'll just tell you.
So what,
now we're
so
going to talk about it.
so what's the sikum of the Alter Rebbe? That if he has it, I mean, that's
The
the half.
Sikumim Alter Rebbe is miskaven ligzel is also midiraisa.
Yeah, but if it's miskaven
But if it's al menas l'shalim, or for sure al menas lahachzir es to whether you're going to pay or you're going to bring back the actual item, according to the Alter Rebbe, this is mutter. But if you were intending to rob the thing, then it's minat Torah. That's the Alter Rebbe.
Yeah.
So, which means B'Pashtus is how we hold. Fine. So now, how about misleading a guy in business? If when we're misleading, or what do you call it? What's the word for what do you call it when you cheating him or whatever? What's the word I'm looking for? The word I'm looking for is
Deceiving.
Yeah, deceiving. Yeah, very good. That's exactly it. Deceiving. Fine. So the Ramah says, right, this is where in Shimon Ches base Tos Eivid Kichavim, a mistake of a guy, Kigain, for example, Lahataise Becheshbon, to mislead him, to deceive him in the accounting. Right? You tell him, okay, it's $90. Really, it's $100. You tell him, yeah, fine, it's $90. It comes out, right? Or lafki alvasai, or to hold back from repaying his loan, right? You withhold.
I think it's more than withholding. I think it's sort of like uprooting it. No.
But it means you're withholding the payments from him. You're not paying him back. You're refusing repayment of a loan.
He's coming to you, asking for it, and you're saying no.
We'll see. Like in the words of Rav Kasimov, we'll see. We'll see. He's going to explain what the situation is, right? Right? So it's permitted. So it means he's not coming to you, because if he's coming to you, then that means he knows about it. So he's saying that you're allowed, however, only if he doesn't realize it, that then there's no Chil Hashem. Because if you remember, so the Ramah goes by the reasoning of Chil Hashem. Right? He's holding by.
So you're not to deceive him only if he makes a mistake himself, right?
That's no. That's right now we're talking. You tricked him. Mutter. Okay, that's the first. Now there's a second. That's the first opinion one. Second opinion, v'yesh emrim the osel. There's the second opinion that Rama brings is you're not allowed to trick him. Then it's not mutter. Elohim tome atzmei shari. We're only talking in a case where he made the mistake by himself, not that you tricked him. So in the Rama, you have two opinions. Opinion one, you can trick a guy, right? And as long as he won't realize it, because then it's a chil Hashem. And the second opinion is you're not allowed to trick him. If he made a mistake, then that's different.
But that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. If you trick him, you're going to be caught.
What?
It doesn't make sense because it says, "Oh, trick him and he won't be caught." You trick him, you'll be caught. Chances are he's going to catch you. So it's a chilul Hashem. It's
we're dealing here in there's many situations it could be. I'll give you a perfect situation. I'm not going to get caught. Okay, I go to and trust me, I had this Yetzer Hara. I'm telling you something, Baruch Hashem, I didn't follow my Yetzer Hara. I'm telling something that I had a Yetzer Hara to do, and there would be no Chil Hashem, I would not have gotten caught. I went to Lyon County Safari.
You better not tell us. I don't know.
My kids. Okay, well, I took my kids to say, it's a safari. You drive through and there's animals, and the rates are a certain amount for kids from this age to that age, and from this age to that age, whatever. And my kids were the kids that I had with me. They were close enough, and what's it called? They could easily pass if I told them they're this age or that age. There's no IDing and nothing. They wouldn't have known the difference. Furthermore, not just they wouldn't know the difference, they wouldn't even care to know the difference because the person working by the cashier is just they're whatever. Just their job is ask you what age and charge you based on that, right? They're not sending private investigators after you to figure out if it was true. Fine, so I could have easily told them that, and I had a taiva too. It would have been a good, a good $30-40 less money. These things are expensive. Okay, and I said, you know what? I'm not the Abishter pays the money, and I'm not. It wasn't because I thought so much about this machlekes nerama. It was, but I said no. You know what? This is not what's it called? I'm gonna tell them the proper ages. I'll pay the extra $40. Invite the fun, and that's it. And also it's it's a lesson to my kids because some people said, wait a second, why do we have to tell them? And I told them why, because this is not how you didn't do, and especially Hasidim for sure, it's not how we do. So fine, so that's an example of I could have tricked them, and it's certain there would be no chilul Hashem from that. Now, in many cases, when you trick somebody, would you get caught and would there be a chilul Hashem? Probably. In most cases, you're probably right. It would, but it's possible to have such a case that wouldn't be. Fine. So, yeah, fine. So now, according to the Yeshemrim, that even if they won't find out. Now, the interesting thing is, the truth is, even if he made the mistake, let's remember that chilul Hashem is a whole separate inyan. According to the one that said, according to both of them, right? The question is it mutter or asur to do this? If there's going to be the ubilvachla yivadala is in both cases, meaning even if he made the mistake, but it would become known and it would create a chilul Hashem. Yeah, you still have it because chilul Hashem is a whole separate issue. It's not about because you would think, so in that case, it doesn't make a difference. No, it makes a difference still. The question is, let's say we're talking where there's no chilul Hashem. If there's a chilul Hashem, you got a problem. Now, if there's no chilul Hashem, according to the first opinion, you can even trick the guy, and according to the second opinion, no, you can't. Only if he made the mistake himself, and there's no chilul Hashem. Fine. Kasher agoy toya mi'atzmei, when the guy made the mistake himself, he bought from the Jew and he paid more than what he's supposed to pay. Or he sold to the Jew and he gave back too much change, or he gave too much product. And it was in such a way that the Jew had nothing to do with causing the mistake. Hakel made him, so then according to both of those opinions, everybody agrees he doesn't have to correct the guy's mistake, and to give him back the difference. Since he made the mistake of his own on his own self, he didn't rob. There's no deception. Mitzad Yehudi, as far as you didn't deceive him. So what's the only thing that applies? Hashavas Aveda, returning a lost article. We already learned before in the Gemara that the lost article you don't have a chiyuv to return. Right, this is in the Rambam and the Maggid Mishnah there. Or even so, right? Even when, let's say, the guy himself made the mistake, right? Because so still he can have a problem with chilul Hashem, right? Because all of a sudden he'll realize he made a mistake, and now he knew I made a mistake. He didn't want to go. So Nachan Sheim Al Yisrael, it's appropriate that the Jews should tell him that I'm relying on your. I'm not going to count. I'm not counting your change. I'm not counting how much you're giving me. So I'm relying on you that you're that you're giving the appropriate amount. Because then, listen, I told you count it. I'm not double counting your thing. So when's the machlekes at the Rama? Brati b'mikra shayisrael mata es anachri b'mekach memkor. Right, in business, he deceived, he tricked the guy, b'tzura mechuvenes, in an intentional way. And in order to understand this, so according to that, the first opinion says it's still fine. The second opinion says no, it's no good. When you intentionally tricked him yourself, and in order to understand this machlekes better, we have to first understand the din of refusing to repay a guy, a loan. Nemar b'teira, it says in the Torah, do not withhold, literally oppress, but do not, meaning in this case, oppressing means to withhold his money from him. Opirush eishik, what does eishik mean here? What does oppression mean? Hainu shenishmat mipiroyin chayiv, that he holds back from paying back from repayment of a loan. She'ena machzir halva, he does not return a loan, like kesef shechayv l'chaveirim mischiris geis b'zeh, or money that he owes the other guy for wages or similar. V'hainu sha'kesef higia liyodei beheter b'nigud l'gezel, that the money, when it first came into his possession, it was legal. It did not come into his hands in an usher way. Right, the problem is only created after that, right? As opposed to I went and took his thing or took his money. Here, when I took the loan from him, there's no problem. Or when I have the money from which I owe him wages, it was my money. It came to my hands in a mutadik way. So from, like we said before, what it says, your fellow. So the problem of Eishek, right, the withholding, withholding something owed, is only l'reyecha, so not for an achri. Afal pikein kosva Rambam. Even so, the Rambam writes, she'osur lashik nachri, it is prohibited to withhold money from an achri. Ubira Kesef Mishneh shizom midrabanan, and the Kesef Mishneh explained that when the Rambam is saying that it's osur, it's midrabanan. V'chein kosv b'Shulchan Aruch, and so too it writes in Shulchan Aruch, and that's what in Simin Shin Nun Tesif Aleph. Also, the ligzel lashik afilu kol shehu bein mi Yisrael bein be'evit kichavim.
Yeah, but the Shulchan Aruch should have differentiated that b'doraisa. Even the Rambam agrees.
So that's the Kesef Mishneh. I don't know yet if everybody holds that that's what the Rambam.
Hold on a second. The Rambam is saying the case of Mishnah is saying it betuv tam. I'll tell you why. Because he has a pasuk. It's recho.
Right.
It's not like it's that. What are you going to tell me? That
right. So recho is recho.
Recho is recho. I mean, you want to tell me that what? What are you going to say?
No, it's because right. No, you're right. The problem is the problem. What's problematic is the lashon of the Shulchan Aruch, because he says bein Yisrael bein Eved Kichavim.
Yeah.
But Yisrael, it's the Raisa.
But where?
But he only says asur, right? This is different. Note there's a difference in lashon, because before when he was talking about Geneva, note that he used din Torah. Here he doesn't use the lashon din Torah.
Okay,
so maybe you could say that's
don't you think that if you want to say that if something is osir, and by one of them is deraisa, and by one of them is derabanan,
right? You would think you would say va'asir midivrehim or something like that.
I have a bigger kasha on the Rambam, on the Loshan Rambam. I have a bigger kasha, because knowing full well that it says by loisashoik, it says full well it's re'echo. You're coming and tell me now that ben bei. The Alpha Pikein doesn't. It says Alpha Pikein, even though it says Re'echo by Lutzashoik and it's a gate no fayid, Von deswegen schreibt dabei Goyechet, right? That's what he wants to
Right.
say. But,
Right.
but
And then the
what-
Kesef Mishnah explains. Well, wait. So the Kesef Mishnah answers you by saying, that because that's midirais and that's midrabanon, meaning afa pikein also midrabanon, explains the Kesef Mishnah.
Okay.
That's how the Kesef Mishnah explains his afa.
It has to be that way because you
Because
can't.
right, you just said right, you just said reyacha, so it's not midraisa. So
Yeah.
so it leaves you the only conclusion. The only conclusion is it's also midrabanon, because we just said it's not midraisa because it says reyacha. So afa became asur, so the only so it must be midrabanon only.
So, okay, so begin kosten bij Shulchan Aruch, also liegt zo oilashuk, afilu kosher, ben beisrael, ben chovim.
Yeah, and the only difference that you find here between Geneva is by Geneva the Shulchan Aruch used the lashon din teira.
Okay, you have to agree with me that that the lotion is a little bit like sosum. No, it's like
I agree, 100%. I agree.
I understand. Right? That's what that.
Right,
that's
then
what
he should like he should spell. Well, why not specify over here? Like awesome what's it called? Something.
You know, the Mar says liflok velisa b'didei. You know, liflok velisa b'didei. Let it differentiate and let it differentiate
between.
Right,
in the Rambam, in the Rambam, I can see it because he says that it's that it's not, that's only reyacha. The afa became asur. Fine. So in his words, I can see it.
I can see it because
obviously, had I not known this Rambam, I would not assume this from Shulchan Aruch's words.
I really wonder how he learned the Rambam, because in the Rambam you can say the Raisa is also is by Akub is also
afa became asur. Fine.
Also, again, also, and we insert common sense inserts. Medivrayhem, you know
right,
what I'm saying?
Right. Und das meint afa became.
If the Rambam said
right,
that even though that Lesashuk by Yid is the Raisa, Afa Pikein Chachomim of an Geyser given.
Right. Yeah.
The
Rambam, I have no problem with the Rambam.
No. But this Shulchan Aruch, the lotion is
the Shulchan Aruch is a lotion sasami. You wouldn't know from the Shulchan Aruch without knowing that it comes from this Rambam. You wouldn't know that.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's the way it is there. Maybe we can go inside. Yeah. So in light of this, the Tzeitzachishon writes it calls mancha nachi yedea shaysel chayiv loi. So long as the nachi knows that the Jew owes him, tzarich l'shalim lei ve'osur lishtamet mikach. So the Tzeitzachishon says that all of this is when he doesn't know. But if he knows, you have to pay him, and you cannot withhold from doing this. Even says the Ketzais, if there's no right, you would think your first impression is if he knows Chil Hashem, that's why. Why? Because it's Asur Midrabanan, that's why.
Not because of Chil Hashem, nothing to do
because
with
it's Asur Midrabanan, finished.
Exactly.
Now,
it's funny because he doesn't even.
That's not why it's Asur, which implies he holds by the other reasoning that you shouldn't act in ways that's ugly. Because in other words, that's there's two reasons given for why it's midrabanan. One is because it could be Chil Hashem, and the other is because don't act in an ugly way. What's an nafkamina? The nafkamina is like the says here that he holds that it's not because of Chil Hashem. So even if he knows about it, even if it's not a Chil Hashem. But then again, if you're talking about not to act in an ugly way, so then what's the difference if he knows or not?
What?
So it's a little bit weird because he's not holding not by that. Because generally the Chil Hashem has to do with him knowing about it usually. Whereas don't act in an ugly way. It's even if he doesn't know about it. What's the difference? He knows about it or not. You're acting in an ugly way.
Right. So what's your question?
So my question is, what's the reasoning? Maybe he'll say. So
what's the reason of what? Of the ketzois?
what?
What's the reason of the ketzois?
So what's his reasoning? We saw two reasonings before. One is Chil Hashem.
You're right.
And the other one is don't act in an ugly way.
Right.
Okay.
And what the
says, but here he's saying if he knows about it, even if there's no Chil Hashem.
So how do you learn the ketzois? It says, "Kol zman shanochri yodeh sheYisrael chayev loy tzarich hashalom loy b'osei shtam mishukan v'zeh afilu ein chil Hashem bedover." In other words, somehow it's not going to be a chil Hashem. I don't know how. If he knows about it, I don't know.
Well, maybe like before, maybe like in the case before where he told him, listen, I'm relying on your cheshbon.
Okay. But he's not allowed to intentionally make yourself like dumb. That's what it means.
Yeah. Listen,
if you make yourself dumb,
I told you already that I'm relying on your weighing of it or whatever.
Right. When you act dumb, you're not really making Chil Hashem because you said, listen, I don't have a head for this. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I'm relying on your, what do you call it?
Okay,
you're the expert.
So then that's a pshat v'zehu afilu ein Chil Hashem bedover. Fine.
Yeah.
You can also lashuk nochri.
Right. Yeah. So let's see. L'shidas can say zacheshin. Of course, salvoshel nochri shemuteres. So according to it says, when are you allowed to withhold the prepayment? Only in such a case where it could be defined as a lost article. Why? Because a lost article you're not chayiv to return. However, Eishek is not allowed midrabanan, and Gezel is not allowed. Gneva is not allowed midraisa. But Gezel is not allowed, besides according to Mashal. But Geneva is Midiraisa, Gezel is Midrabanon, Eshik is Midrabanon. When's the only time you don't have to return it? Is when it's categorized as a lost artic.
When he doesn't know about it.
Right.
And he gives examples.
Like he forgot. Yeah. So he died. And his inheritors don't know about the about this obligation. Fine, so that's the it says. Ula mashita haravachas bepeski Ashkenaz. However, the wider accepted opinion by the Ashkenazic Peskim are k'divrei Ramah hanal, the aforementioned Ramah shemuter lafkia halvosh shel nochri b'chol inyan. You're allowed to with. Right. So it comes out in the Ramah that even according to those that hold that you cannot intentionally trick him, even they would admit that to not repay him you're allowed.
It's a little.
Tricking him is one. Tricking him in business is one thing, and not repaying his alone is a different thing. And this would be allowed, even though they hold you're not allowed to trick him when you're trying during a transaction.
But denying a loan, yes.
Yeah. ומש מדברי הרמות שזהו אפילו במקרה שהיהודי משתמט במכוון מתשלום חייב שהנוכרי יתהיה בהם. It's mashma from the Ramah. They were talking even in a case that the Jews intentionally holds back and the guy knows about it. B'tnai she'ein b'zechel Hashem. Again, obviously in most cases there is going to be a chil Hashem b'davar, but let's say for whatever reason there isn't. Like when he told him, "I'm relying on your way."
So he's saying that you are allowed to be mafkia a thing. It seems that
So according to the Ramah,
you're allowed to be mafkia.
There's two opinions in the Ramah. One opinion holds you can be lechatchila l'hataisei.
But even if you say it's also l'hataisei,
as long as there's no chil Hashem. Right. The other opinion says no, you can't deceive. But if he made the mistake himself and there's no chil Hashem, then. However, when it comes to repaying money owed, that doesn't fall under either of those cases. And that again, so
It has to be
Again,
like
so long as there's
like
no
a Hashav, like a
in
Hashavas
all
Aveda.
situations, if there's going to be a Chil Hashem, you got a problem.
I know, but it says it has to be in a way of Hashavas
It's a
Aveda.
Aveda, right? It's a loss like a lost.
That he doesn't know what it is.
Or that it's he doesn't remember about it. He doesn't. No, that's according to the No, that's only according to the Ktseis. According to the Ramah, even if he knows about it, as long as it's no Chil Hashem. Again, that's going to be very few situations. Right. So according to the Ktseis, it's only if he doesn't know about it.
He doesn't know.
Remember, again, we're not talking about Mekach Memker now. We're talking just about repayment of a loan or repayment of owed money. Only in that situation.
It's different when it's
yeah because it's which is a funny thing, because why is that not Lisashik? It is Lisashik, but the Ramah doesn't hold like the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch holds that Lisashik is an Isur D'Rabbanan, bottom done. You can't do it.
What is it? What does the Ramah hold if it's not D'Rabbanan?
So the Ramah holds it's not a D'Rabbanan. He holds that. I
mean, which is talking about a Yid, is Shaykh by Yid and the Reise, and according to the Bechaber and Medrabanan by a Goy. Comes the Ramon says, you know something? Is only by Yid, and by the Goy is, so long as no Chil Hashem, it's fine.
Right.
I think before we understand the Ramah, I think what you said. Ramah says a clear statement beyond what is also Minat Torah, beyond, and that's undisputable. Like Leisashuk by Yid and Gezela by Yid.
Right. So now you have by a Goy. You have the Shulchan Aruch who says that Gezel and Leisashuk, even though it's not Midiraisa, is Asur, Midrabanan, finished.
Nothing to do with Chil Hashem.
Right. The Ramah says that no, that by Mekach Memkar, by Mekach Memkar, so it depends if you tricked him or somebody else, or he tricked himself. Again, so long as there's no Chil Hashem. However, when it comes to Lisashik, that is not even a D'Rabbanan he holds. Again, unless there's going to be a Chil Hashem. Then you still got a problem. So now, Shita Zu Hamatira Lishtamit Mitashlum Chayv L'Nachli. This Shita misbaseses al kach she'ein isur lashik nachay filim b'drabanan. So it's based on the opinion that there is no, right, unlike the Rambam and Shulchan Aruch, right, who hold that there is an isur midrabanan. So this, according to the opinion of the Ramah, there is no isur lashik nachri midrabanan. Kol zman she'ein chshach l'chil Hashem. What's the only problem is chil Hashem. So the fizeh.
So according to the Ramah, in a case where he knows about it and there's no chil Hashem, so it's fine.
Yeah, even if he knows about it.
If there's no chil Hashem, it's fine.
Then right, pretty much. But however, there's a different thing that you're not allowed to do. Meaning, there's a whole different thing that you're not allowed to. That according to one opinion, you're not allowed to trick him in Mekach Memker. And the other opinion holds no, even the trick him in Mekach Memker is fine. That's the two opinions brought in the Ramah.
And what we're talking about right now is by Halvos.
Is Eishek. Yeah, Eishek Halva. Right?
So
again,
no
Eishek, according to both opinions in the Ramah, there is no Isur, even with the Rabbanon of Eishek, right? Unless Chilul Hashem. So what is there then? According to one opinion in the Ramah, and that's according to both opinions in the Ramah. According to one opinion in the Ramah, there's an Isur of like Gnevas Das, of deception in Mekach Memker. in a business transaction.
It's also the Rabbanon.
That's midabonon. But Eishek, I feel him midabonon. There's, according to both opinions that he brings, is no problem.
Can I ask you a question? Why? I mean, logically speaking, why Lois Ashok should only apply by a loan and not in a business transaction? Because Lois Ashok means withholding.
What's it called? Because that's
Is that a fact?
That's how that because that's what's in the Torah in the Gemara, and that's what you have to go by. And that's how he's understanding the Torah in the Gemara.
That's what he means over here.
That there's no according to the Torah, there's no issur of leisashik. It doesn't apply by a nachri period.
I know. I'm not asking that.
Now is the gnevas das depends on the opinion. No,
I'm not saying that. I'm saying it the whole thing of leisashik,
yeah.
Is why does it only apply? I mean, whether it's the rights of the Rabbanon, why are we categorizing it only in a scenario of a loan and not a scenario of a business? Because at the end of the day, he owes him money, even in business. So then he's about
fine. Yeah, but one that they're categorized differently as different types.
Yeah,
of
and I think the way they interpret the pasuk of Lesashoik, that's a basic machlokes, because I don't think the Mechaber makes a difference whether.
Well, I mean, the way they categorize the pasuk is essentially the same. Everybody categorizes as leisashek, v'leisisel is midayecha. So that's what they're getting from the pasuk. That midairaisa, there's no Eishik and there's no Gezel by a Nachri.
Oh, that I understand.
Right. Now the question is there a midrabanon on it? That's where they argue. That's the argument.
But my thing is, there might be in the background another machlokes over here. Is this Lois Ashok, which is mentioned in the pasuk?
We're gonna see soon. I think that there's a machlokes rishonim that's behind all this.
It must be because how did it come about that?
Right, he's not listen. He's not just coming up with it on his own.
Yeah, it's either
we'll see.
I think he's
going to bring now. I think he'll bring a machlokes rishonim right now. But okay, so anyway, so mutar afilu lahitzi dvar sheker mifiv, right? And he can even lie about it. In order to avoid paying. Again, it always comes back down to unless it's gonna, it's gonna right. Let's bring the Safari story again. Right, according to this, I was allowed I could no, because that's in Mekach Memkes, Lav Dafka. But let's say it wasn't in Mekach Memkes. Let's say I owed them the money, but they had no idea to know that I owed them the money. And they don't know. So they said, "Wait, did you owe me my?" There's no documentation. They have no way to know. And they said, "Did you owe me?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "No. It's what's it called? They paid it. Okay, fine." So you can even lie about it. Why? Look, if you look in footnote 17, this heter to lie about it is explained in Shulchan Aruch Harav and in Kuntres Achel in Sivkot and Dalet al pi Rashi v'Rosh, according to Rashi and the Rosh, and he pushes away the words of the Taz. It doesn't allow to lie in this case. And what's the reason that you could lie? Betama heter efshar leimer shemi acher shemuter lafkia halva harizek keilu ein chayav lei. Since he's allowed to avoid the payment, so it's as if he doesn't owe him, and therefore he's not really lying when he tells him, "I don't owe you." Right? And since it's really his money, he's the money is due to him, so he's allowed to lie about it. Fine. Top of 28. This is all talking about when he has a monetary obligation to pay the nachri. But if he's talking about a specific item,
he's not allowed to say, you hear?
yeah,
He's not allowed to say, oh, I don't have your baseball bat.
right.
Yeah.
Right, so if it's talking about a certain item,
then אבל מדובר בחפץ מסוים של נוחי שהופקע ביד נוחי also לכבר, but I don't have it. You're not allowed to say that. שהרי זו גזל ממש.
Let me just see what they're fine.
I wonder if this is like that also. Look at footnote 18.
כך לשון שולחן אורך הרב שם.
שם, היינו שכל זמן שמדובר בחפץ באין, יש אחריות כגזלה אסורה.
Yeah, so it's not
clear. It's not,
right. As long as we're talking about a physical item, then it's like gezela.
It's like it's considered like gezela. He's saying it's considered. It's not clear by me.
And it's also
what the Alter Rebbe means. It's gezela mamish.
And it's also midrabanan in this case.
Exactly.
Yeah. Even though it came, right, because before we said, what's the whole thing? If it came to his hands in a mutadik way. In this case, even though it came to his hands, right, without and it was mutter when it came to his hands. As opposed to straight out, he robbed it. He took it, he went and stole it. He went and robbed it. Fine. So it's even so. Calls dover shegia liyad yude beheter, killed because it's bein muted lafkia menachri kishen shesh l'Hashem. So Howard said the Nesivus doesn't hold this way. He holds that as long as it came to his hands, and it wasn't prohibited when he got it, so long as there's no chilul Hashem, he can. It's fine. Whereas according to the Shulchan Aruch Harav here, even if it came to his hands and it was mutter, when we're talking about a physical item, then no. Right? So even though it's
יש להחשיב זו כגזלה אסורה, אף על פי שהחפץ הגיע ליד היהודי בהתר, בתרס פיקודן, בניגוד לגזל גומר. So here the Alter Rebbe is momachmer.
Yeah,
because he's
right.
telling you.
The Nesivus says no, it doesn't make a difference. He says money or an item is the same difference. If it came into his hands in a mutter dika way, and there's no chilul Hashem, obviously, then he has no requirement to give it back. According to the Alter Rebbe, no. When it's talking about money, then yeah, as long as there's no chilul Hashem. But when we're talking about a physical item, sorry, that you got to give back. That's right. Selah, and that's also midrabanan. You got to give it back.
Even if it came to him beheter, and it's mamish machloikis with the Alter Rebbe with the Nesivus, because the Nesivus says if it came beheter, it's yours.
Right. He says it makes no difference, money or an item. The Alter Rebbe says no, only money. That's
Mendel,
only by money. By an item.
Do you realize over here that even there's a little bit different over here? The Alter Rebbe again concentrates his analysis in the chayfetz itself.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not
not
the way it was handled
as opposed to on the person. It's right on the
person whether he stole it or he didn't steal it. It's the same. I see. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think it makes sense what I'm saying.
Well, they're both talking about when it came to his hands in a mutadik way.
Yeah,
the Alter Rebbe holds when it's an item.
An item, exactly.
Right, the Alter Rebbe differentiates between the item, right, and the Nesivus doesn't. Correct.
And the thing is, if you remember the previous Seifim,
We had also without the Rebbe, the French.
Without the Rebbe, consider the item, not
when we were talking about
lending things,
about
borrowing without
borrowing without permission, that a person would be makbid, and the Alter Rebbe, his focus wasn't on if the person's going to be makbid on you, it's if he's going to be makbid on the item.
Do you
honey.
see a stick of
What?
similarity or not?
Yeah, come.
Do you see a similarity
to I see similarity because the Alter Rebbe focuses on the item rather than
the item rather than the
on right, because that was the thing with the last one. The last time was the Alter Rebbe was meaning they were saying, if he knows that the person is not makbid on him, the Alter Rebbe says no, it makes no difference if the Alter Rebbe is makbid on him or not. It's if it's the guy's makbid on the chayfetz. On the item or not.
In other words, does the guy think that maybe the item will break or will spoil? Remember that the whole
right. But it's about the item, not about your relationship with the person.
It came to my mind now over here when it says over here that in the case of a chayfetz, that's gezela mamish, at least at Rabbanan by a goy, right? Because it's a chayfetz. It's this is a quintessential.
So it lines up with this.
Exactly. This is a classical.
It lines up with how he was particular about that over there.
Right. Yeah. This is a classical case of theft. Of you're focusing on the object, right?
Yeah.
And therefore, that it doesn't make a difference where it came beheter
right.
which is circumstantial. We're not interested about the circumstantial. We're more.
Well, we're not interested in
circumstances. We're
here.
We're
interested in Pale over here.
Anyway,
so now continuing in the same thing. What are the shittis and what's the halacha? Harama Avi Machlekes Rishonim. The Rama brings the machlekes of the early authorities. Right, like we said before. Are you allowed in Mekach Memkar in business, in a business transaction? Are you allowed to trick him? Right? Sherish Machlekes. What's the source of the Machlekes? Like we said, is tricking him in business the same as not repaying a loan? Or on the other hand, is it similar to gezel from a guy, which is also midrabanan? Lidugma, for example, Ruven Kaina Minachri Chayfetz Shemchirei 100 Meya. Right? It's 100 is this the amount? V'yesh Ruven if Sharus the Hatis Sanachri, and Ruven has the possibility to deceive the Nachri. Well, the Shalim Raktishim, and he can pay him only 90. But Eifin in such a way, Shanachri lo yoda alatoya, the Nachri didn't know about the deception. So automatically, if he doesn't know about it, there can't be a chil Hashem. A chil Hashem is only possible if he's going to know about it. So according to the first opinion, you can do this. Why? So that's the reasoning for the first opinion in the Ramah. Why are you allowed to trick him if there's no chil Hashem? Because it's similar.
So then you're allowed to do it. Of course, Mammon, you're allowed to do it.
Of course, Mammon, you're allowed. Right. As long as there's no chil Hashem, right? And basically in any and all of these scenarios, they're all assuming there's no chil Hashem going on, right?
Yeah, that's
fine. So that's the first opinion. That's why the first opinion Rama holds that way, because it holds that it's like of course halva. It holds it's like repayment of a loan. But according to the second opinion, Rama also says you can't actively deceive him. Why he's acquiring the item only, right? Meaning he's acquiring it to you. He's giving over the ownership of it to you, only in exchange for full payment. So if you're deceiving him in the accounting of it, and you're paying him less than the full price, it's not really, he's saying it's wrong. It's not really I don't think it's like a gain. It's more like a geisel. Maybe it's like Gainim. I think it's more Gnevas Das. So he can take. So then it's like he stole it, and it's not the same. Holds the second opinion as repaying a loan. And we find that even not just actual theft, but even Genevas Das, right? Even misleading a guy is not allowed in business transactions. Right? Like for example, if a nachri comes to buy something and you hide a defect in the item, this is asur. The kol shekain also la taisei, and how much more so that mamish, right? That you're just hiding a mum. So how much that's right? Gnevas das. It's just I didn't tell him about a mum. So how much more so that you can't mamish mislead him purposely. Now in the case where you're mamish taking money from him, like he buys something from the nachri and he deceives him to add more schira than what he than what's due to him, or that he's selling to the guy, and he's tricking him, deceiving him to make him pay more than what he should be paying. There are those that write shafilu hashita harishayna b'ramam gezel gomer v'asur. So there are those that write that even according to both opinions, this is considered gezel gomer, complete robbery, and is prohibited. Shari ein mishtam mitashlam, because in this case he's not holding back from paying, which is the only basis for the first opinion. Rather, you're literally causing a loss. You're causing a loss of money, a straight up loss of money. You're robbing money from his hands, basically. And there are those that wrote, and some say no. Even in this case, it's the first opinion will hold that it's permitted. Why? Because it's so long as he himself gave over the money. Even though he only did it because the Jew deceived him. So this is not part of the gezel hagoy, which is prohibited. The shita zu, according to this opinion, gezel hagoy also activis. It's only according to this opinion. It's only when the Jew does a physical action. When he went to forcibly remove the money from the guy, which means it makes him a gazlan. Or when the person doesn't see him, in which case it's a ganav. The rule in practical ruling, most of the Achreni Ashkenaz, they are stringent, like the second opinion that the Rama brings. Also the lahatis nachri b'mekach or memke b'chalifanim. It is prohibited to deceive a nachri in business in any way. V'rakim tami atzrei muter, and only if he made the mistake by himself, then it's muter. Ochin b'mikra shehita as a nachri b'shei. Now, what happens if this is all when it wasn't? When it was all when it was intentional? What if it was a mistake, and he took money out of him? For example, Reuven buys on the internet from a goyish store, and the thing never arrived, it never came. Right, so he puts in an Amazon, right? Amazon, how can we help you? An item never received, right? And then so Amazon then gives him the option. Do you want to? We should reship the item. Pizza Caspi or monetary compensation, or we'll refund you, right? Fine. And then the first thing which got stuck in the United States postal system now gets to him. He can keep both of the items. or alternatively the item and the refund. Why? Because the prohibition of deceiving a nachri in business is because of robbery or because of misleading, gnevas das, right, in business. Because should also says, but when he did it by accident, he did not do he did not what's it called? He did not do the prohibition. So after that, now it's already Hashavas Aveda. Now it's already a question of Hashavas Aveda. And Hashavas Aveda, we said he's not required. Okay, now how about let's remind ourselves of the good old days in yeshiva, and of taking what do they call it when they confiscating
gadgets.
Yeah, confiscating things from a student, right? So.
Hacharomas chayfetz u'talmid. By the way, there's an interesting Alter Rebbe we should look at in the footnote, I think. Footnote 23. You want to look at it?
Yeah.
I think so.
23. Where's 23? He only brings the second opinion.
Ironically enough, Pasuk Rashal, who's Mekel,
I think it was my Shal Sham, right? Right. Well, he was Mekel by Gzela. That Gzela is also that Gneva is also Midrabanan.
Right.
But he still held it also.
But here he's saying that even if it came
all right, Mishum Shel Suffolk Deiraisa. שהתויה מכוונת, מגרומם he Gnevas das, שיש בחיסון מון ואסור מן התורה.
So it's not clear, but that the Rashal is so lenient.
It's not. It's not just that. If Gneva Mamish is the Rabbanon, why would he say that? What do you call it?
I mean.
I think the Marshal that needs
the Rashal. You know what I'm saying? Is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because we have a big question how we learned the Rashal. I mean, the way it was presented to us.
Right. So it could be that he holds primarily that it's a midrabanon, but I guess at the end of the day, he's not 100% sure.
It's a kain deoraisa, yeah. If it borders, if it's so similar.
The Marshal, it seems, is not. He feels it's a midrabanon, but he's not so sure apparently.
Yeah.
Okay, so now b'shalos etruvis mishnah halachis kosav she'afal pishem mamin she'odam gadol nosan yeld katan hu shaloi l'chodav. Even though the money or the monetary equivalence that that an adult gives to a child belongs to the child in every way, shekatan yesh zechir gemura kasher das acheretz maknelei, that even though a child cannot acquire for himself, however, he does fully get the item when somebody else is makneh for him. When somebody else acquires for him, it's his. He attains full ownership. And therefore, taking an item from a katan is gezel gamur. Right? It's like we said before, that it is prohibited from theft is prohibited, whether from an adult or a child. When there's a need for educating, he can confiscate the item of a student for the time being. And it's not. There's no problem of robbery here. What's the reason? When a child is given to a teacher to teach him, right? He's made like a steward, like a guardian for him. Right? That I mean like a guardian, like a shemer, what's it called? I mean, meaning like a legal guardian. L'shemrei, to guard him, ladriche, and to guide him, l'lam de Torah, and to teach him Torah. V'im ein reitzil l'shmei elav, and if he's not listening to him, mutter min adin, afil la kesa, he's even allowed to strike him. V'im kain, kol shekain, sheshari likach meno mashe biyodei, im zem akvil lam de ladriche. So for sure he can confiscate this thing if this is holding it back, if holding him back from learning, and to guide him.
It seems to be it's only temporarily.
Yeah. The chain cause b'sei so it's b'sei acheshin u'matzi b'melamdi tinekis shelifamim yesh b'yad atinik chayfetz. Right, it's common to happen by those who teach the children that the child has chayfetz, an item sha'al yodei nimna. So through this, he himself is held back. Or he's disrupting other children from learning. And he's forced to take it from him. Certainly stealing from a child is also, or robbing a child is also. Furthermore, maybe it's not even the child's item. Maybe it's his father's item. He's allowed to take it from him on the condition to give it back. So here you see he uses the lashon al menas lahachzirei.
It made it very clear.
Right. And even if the Melamed feels it's fit, based on his judgment of what's best for this child, to confiscate even if it's for a long time. And it's possible he doesn't even have the law of a guard, that he has the chiyuv of a guard that gets lost or whatever. However, to take it, not to return it at all, and certainly to destroy it, it seems that this is prohibited. Unless this is mamish what's needed for this student, because he has to destroy it. This maybe it's an item that you can't return to the students. They found if you confiscated a weed pen from the Talmud, then it would make sense that I'm a lamed, and you wouldn't give it back at all, because it's not good for the child to have such a thing. So now the truth is that we're talking about hopefully not children. If a 9-year-old already has such a thing, it's but even by Bachim, or it's a gadol or whatever. Anyway, Isurei le'sashek v'lei sachmei. The hevdel ben gezel le'eshek. So what's the difference between gezel and eshek? Kasvar Rambam Shulchan Aruch. The Rambam Shulchan Aruch writes, Izel Gazlan, who is a robber. Halikeach mamin adam b'chazaka. Somebody who forcibly takes money or something of monetary value. Like he snatched from his hands a movable object. Or he went into the property of without permission and took vessels from there. Remember, there could still be a gazlan as long as he didn't go into the property in a sneaking way. He went in publicly, probably he's not hiding from anybody. He goes in and snatches kalim from the guy's place. Or he grabbed hold of the guy's a slave or his animal, and he used them. Or he went into the guy's field and ate the fruits, anything like this. What is Eishek on the other hand? What is this thing that with oppression? This is when it came into his hands in the first place. The item or the money came into his hands willingly. It wasn't. He didn't force it. He didn't rob. As opposed to robbery, where they didn't want him to take. He took it forcibly against their will. Here, originally, when he got it. It was not against their will.
I understand. If you pickpocket somebody, that's geneva.
That's geneva. It's not even gzela. You're hiding.
That's not gzela.
Gzela is give me this thing. Grab it.
Like a hold up. that's gezel.
Yeah, or even if you're not there and I walk onto your property and take it, but I'm not hiding. I'm opening. Go, okay, I'm grabbing his thing. Haha. Right? The whole difference in Genev and Gezel is if I'm hiding from people or not. Other than that, they're the same. Right? However, in the case of Eishek, you got the thing not against their will. Right? So the Kivon Shetavu right? And now, so he got it originally okay. He didn't do anything wrong in taking it, but now the guy's coming, and the guy's coming to claim it. Now he won't give it back to him. He forcibly holds it back and doesn't return it. Okay, but he got it in the first place, okay, but now he's not returning it. So that's the difference. Gzela and Eishek. Gzela, he got it. That's definition between Gzela and Eishek is one he took it forcibly, and the other one he did not take it forcibly. He's just refusing to return it by force.
Like, for example, a loan, that kind of thing, or a house.
Yeah, a loan. Yeah, let's say a loan or whatever it is, or a shemer or whatever. Any of these kinds.
Shemer, not. Remember, it says that.
That's all because that you have leisishlach yodcha. Yeah.
Yeah, and remember we just.
But
said
fine,
right
but
now,
let's see Picodin.
Picodin also not. He said that according to the Katsois, it's a problem. The Picodin.
By what?
That's what we said. Look in the previous page. It says.
That's in other words, that's Eishek.
Huh?
That's Eishek.
By Picodin.
Now we're not even talking about. Let's forget for a minute that we were talking about a yid or a goy or whatever. Now we're talking about by a yid now.
Then it doesn't play a difference.
Yeah, we should have clarified that first because right, what you're talking about is by a goy. Now we're talking about what's the difference between Gezel and Eishek. Nothing to do with the Nachi anymore.
Yeah.
Right, which by a yid the call Ashitis, that's the Reyacha. Eishek is midiraisa, right? Gezel is midiraisa, Eishek is midiraisa, Gnev is midiraisa, all midiraisa. But what's the difference between them? So the difference we know between Gnev and Zela is if he was hiding from people or not, right? He's afraid of people or not. And the difference between Gezel and Eishek is Gezel came to his hand by force in the first place. Eishek came to his hand not by force, but now he's forcing it. Right? So Kegain Shahaya Libiat Chaver Halva, Ischirus, Shechayev Chaveri Kesef Machmas Halva, Ischadira, Ischaraveda, for whatever reason, he owes him money for something, or he took a loan. Machas Bekodin, any of these things. Vahu Toivai, and he's now claiming his thing is what he's owed. Alam V'Koshe, he's a strong man and a hard person. He's a mafionaire, these Mazak.
Yeah.
I say
a muscle man.
Yeah. B'shulchan Aruch Harav Kosav Shekol Achayv L'Chaveri Afilu Mammon Kol Shehu Ve'inin Nitz L'Shalom Lei Oy Madcheyu V'lech V'shuv. Either he doesn't pay him, or he come back later and come back later and come back later. Ayver mishum leisashik esreyacha. Again, by a yid, he's ayver on leisashik esreyacha. Omnam lav zed leisashik urak b'Yisrael v'lei b'nochri she'ein b'chlal reyacha. Ach and mishum chil Hashem also lechachi shlonochri kasher anochri yideh she'ysom shakir, like we said before. That if it's going to cause by a nochri, even though it's not, it's also, even though it's not also midiraisa, but it's also mitzad chil Hashem. Ve'aheter lachik nochri urak b'mokim she'en chil Hashem. Gegain shelav menochri u'meisa nochri rashai lechachish l'bnei. Fine.
Let me ask you a question. When a person says, I'm going to pay, he says lo sashuk, right? Are you even lo sashuk when you intend paying him back? I don't think so.
No. We learned it by Balton. If you don't have
Balton Yochayev is for procrastinating.
Right, this is even if you have it, but you're playing games with him.
Why are you over about the Sashok?
Because you're not giving back your stuff.
Because you have it.
Remember, we said before that
if you don't have it, you're not chayiv, right? Sashok. I think the way I understood is that Baltonin Yochayev for procrastinating, whether you intend paying or you don't intend paying.
I think
You're
even
chayiv.
I think even Baltolin is only when you had it and you didn't pay it.
Yeah, when you
But in both
baltonin, when you
cases, it's
don't,
only
when
when
you
you
don't,
have it.
when you have it, and
Always when you have it.
when
But
you have it.
the difference
No, but
is
hold on a second.
what an afkamina is by Baltolin. If I
Even
have
if
it, if I haven't, even if I don't have time, I have to make sure to give it to him, right? By
baltonin,
Sashik, if I tack it didn't have time,
yeah.
I'm not able. That's the difference. By Tolin, you are able. Even if
And
you don't.
another difference is balton yochayev even if daito lachzer.
Right.
Even if you daito
Right.
lachzer, you're
Yeah,
still
yeah.
chayev.
Baltolin Yechayev. If
Even
now if it was Dr.
if you
Leila
intend
Hachzid, if it was Dr. Leila Hachzid, you're also chayev on Geneva, and then it's even worse. You're chayev on the five.
But
Five
Sasha calls us that. So
on
my
the five
point
and the
is
one I say.
right, and Lo Sashoik. Listen to it. Lo Sashoik, you only chayev in ein daito lehachzir. I think no. A, you have it, and B, you don't intend paying. So when you say procrastinating, you're procrastinating because you don't really intend paying him.
But you know the funny thing there was it seemed to imply that Lo Sashik was midrabanan over there.
Why?
Because that's what it said. He said he's over on a derabanan mishum Sashik in that back by Batol.
So is it
No,
maybe
that
because?
was a different. Maybe the derabanan was something else.
But okay, let me just ask you a plain shaila. Are you chayiv lo sashoik when you intend paying back? I don't think you're chayiv on that.
Yeah. If you don't intend to pay him back, you're mamash chayv on gzela and what's it called and everything. In other words, this is if you're telling him leich v'shuv and right. If you hear it,
He has the money.
If you have it and you're telling him leich v'shuv, even if you intend to pay him back later, but the fact that you're schlepping him, you're
pressing him like that.
Yeah, because he needs the money. Right, so Achim Mishum Chil Hashem Os Lechach Shnal Janochi Deal is Mishakir Velash Janochi Rak Mokim Ein Chil Hashem. You're going to Shalava Minochi Umeis Anochi Shlach Zmanei. Ein Kosa B'Shulach Non Charav. Shedin Zeh Shemut Lashik Nochlik She'ein B'Davar Chil Hashem Urak B'Hafchad. Remember, like the Alter Rebbe said, Urak B'Hafkas Chayivu Kadema. So he's repeating what we said before. Ish Im Yesh B'Yodei Chayiv Shal Nochli Be'ein. You're going to Hufka that slave with a physical item. Also, lichbet b'ayva litain shein etzlei sharazug gezel mamish, right? Like we said before, that the Alter Rebbe draws a difference between when we're talking about an item that's what do you call it? That's what kind of item it is.
Okay.
Fine, good. So I guess we'll continue here tomorrow. My Adam
Yeah. When do you want to learn tomorrow?
So for sure 6:30 to 8. I don't know if